Good evening, Americans, and welcome to the Ed Show tonight from New York. 45 days after the killing of Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman has been arrested. Special prosecutor Angela Corey announced Zimmerman is in custody and is charged with second-degree murder.
Today, we filed an information charging George Zimmerman with murder in the second degree. A capias has been issued for his arrest. With the filing of that information and the issuance of a capias, he will have a right to appear in front of a magistrate in Seminole County within 24 hours of his arrest, and thus formal prosecution will begin.
Corey and her team decided they have enough evidence to prosecute Zimmerman under a second-degree murder charge. In Florida, the state must prove these three elements beyond a reasonable doubt to get a conviction on a second-degree murder. 1, the victim is dead. 2, the death was caused by a criminal act of the defendant. And 3, it was an unlawful killing by a dangerous act. The defendant demonstrated a depraved mind without regard for human life. If Zimmerman is found guilty, he could face life in prison. Angela Corey was appointed as special prosecutor to Trayvon Martin's case on March 23rd. She said there is only one objective in this case.
I think he's troubled by the fact that the state decided to charge him, but I've talked to him about the process. I think anyone who would be charged with second-degree murder would be scared.
George Zimmerman is being held without bail. He has the right to seek bail in a hearing. Zimmerman's new attorney, Mark O'Mara, said his client will plead not guilty. Prosecutor Angela Corey spoke about navigating this case after it is played out in public.
We have rules of criminal procedure, Florida statutes, and rules of ethics. So much information got released on this case that never should have been released. We have to protect this investigation and this prosecution for Trayvon, for his family, and for George Zimmerman, and that's what we will continue to do.
The parents of Trayvon Martin watched Corey's news conference from Washington, D.C. They spoke to the press shortly after the charges were announced.
We simply wanted an arrest. We wanted nothing more, nothing less. We just wanted an arrest, and we got it. And I say thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I just want to speak from my heart to your heart, because a heart has no color. It's not black, it's not white, it's red.
We will continue to hold hands on this journey, white, black, Hispanic, Latino. We will continue to walk. We will march and march and march until the right thing is done.
Martin family attorney Benjamin Crump thanked the public for keeping attention on this case and forcing investigators to take another look.
You just know that a child had been killed, a child who was Sabrina's baby, was Tracy's son, had been killed, and you thought that if this was my child, I would sign this petition. So thank you for signing that petition. And to all those young people, all the young people, the people who marched, the people who stood up, who refused to look away.
This is the arrest many people in this country have been demanding since the killing of Trayvon Martin became public more than a month ago. The justice system will now take over. Today's marks certainly the beginning of justice for Trayvon Martin, certainly not the end. Let's turn to Daryl Parks, attorney for the family for Trayvon Martin. Mr. Parks, thanks for your time tonight. What are your emotions at this hour? This has been a long month, no question about it. Very intense, media scrutiny, no stone left unturned. This has to be a very emotional moment for not only the family but the team. What are you experiencing?
Oh, Ed, it was a tremendous day. I have to tell you, when we talked to Angela Corey on the cell phone just minutes before, when she told us that she had made the decision to charge, to be in that room with Sabrina and Tracy and all of the emotion that they had, I mean, it was overwhelming, to be honest with you. The love, the sorrow, the heartfelt, that their son's death was finally going to get the due attention from the system that it demanded. And all of the energy that they had went through this past 45 days culminated with them sitting in a room with a cell phone, and the prosecutor assuring them that they were moving forward, that she had done her investigation, had seen all of the evidence. It was a very humbling, sorrowful moment that justice had finally come.
Mr. Parks, I want your unvarnished opinion here on why we are here talking about this tonight. Was it the advocacy work? Was it the media? Was it the petition? Was it the demonstrations, the social media, all of it that played into it? Why are we here tonight? Why are we at this point?
We're here because of all of it. Number one, we're here because, number one, Tracy Martin, when he heard the facts from the Sanford Police Department, he did not buy it. He felt let down. And when he contacted Patricia Jones, a local lawyer there in Miami, and said, hey, we need help, she called our firm. My law partner got on this case, and he told Tracy, you're not going to need us. And we had to file a lawsuit. We had to file a lawsuit just to get the 911 tape. And Chief Bill Lee called us, and he still wasn't willing to do the right thing. But Mayor Triplett knew that it was wrong, to his credit, and he made sure those 911 tapes were released.
So it started with a father who thought that there was a terrible injustice that played out and took the life of his son. That's really where it all started. That's where it all started, Ed. And here's what Angela Corey said about her meeting with the Martin family. Here it is.
We did not promise them anything. In fact, we specifically talked about, if criminal charges do not come out of this, what can we help you do to make sure your son's death is not in vain?
It's a hard question to ask, but is there a level of satisfaction? I mean, did they throw the book at George Zimmerman, or are you professionally satisfied with the way this is setting up right now?
Yes, we are, and there are different courses that you can take in this. I think that the charge that she made is a good charge. Let me make a very important point, though, Ed. This family is not gloating in what's going on.
I understand that.
This is a tragedy.
Yeah.
But I think from a professional standpoint, that charge, it's a good charge. It's a little bit better than I originally thought in manslaughter. And so for her to charge second-degree murder, we think is good. Obviously, she's now seen more evidence that I've been privileged to. So obviously she saw something there that was a little bit more convincing to her.
And what is your instinct right now, Mr. Parks? I mean, we've seen some high-profile murder trials play out in the media in this country. Years ago, the Simpson trial. What level is this trial going to be at? And are you confident that there will be a conviction?
I'm very confident there'll be a conviction. Let me say this, right? We try cases all the time. And in this particular case, the law is so. I think even despite the law, I think we'll still get a conviction. However, any person sitting on a jury in this case, when they hear all of the evidence that one guy's armed, one guy is not, that's wrong. I mean, people get it. And that's why I don't care who you are, what color you are, what political affiliation. When an armed man kills an unarmed man, that's wrong. So you could say.
And are we going to see this played out in front of the country with the media scrutiny that we've seen with other trials? I mean, could this be the trial of the decade? I mean, and the reason why I ask that is because of the Stand Your Ground law, because of the issues of race and injustice that I think was played out early on in this, and how hard it was for your team to get the wheels of justice rolling on this. What about the profile of this case?
The case is, it's as high profile as a case gets. I think, though, that the judge in this case will take firm control of the case. I think, luckily, Seminole County sits right next to Orlando, so most of our judges have had a chance to have exposure, at least to other judges who've had high-profile cases. So whoever the judge may be, and you can narrow it down pretty well. In fact, I started talking with one of our local counsel, Natalie Jackson, that there are probably three or four judges, sitting on the felony bench in Seminole County, so we can start narrowing down right now who might possibly get this case as early as tomorrow. So that's where we're headed.
Darryl Parks, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Joining me now is Reverend Al Sharpton, host of Politics Nation here on MSNBC, and the president of the National Action Network. Reverend, great to see you tonight. The family asked you to get involved. That's how you got involved in this. But I have to give my take on this, is that I really believe this in my heart. Had it not been for your involvement, your reporting, your advocacy work, the National Action Network, I'm not sure that we would be where we are tonight. And you have been somewhat of a target of criticism in the mix of all of that. Where we are right now, there's different stages of this. There's been an arrest, there's charges, and we move forward from here. What are your emotions at this hour, Reverend?
Well, I'm very happy that the family has been given at least the dignity of seeing the killer of their son arrested. And I said to them from the beginning when Attorney Crump called me, and I didn't know a case, and most of the country didn't, and we got involved. It's going to be hard, and they're going to attack. I'd rather the attacks come on me. That's what I do as an activist. That's what I do hosting a show, as others do when they pick up cases on shows around the cable world. I'd rather it come on me than the family, because I think that you have no idea how vicious people can be. And they now do have that idea, and it's far from over. Tonight, I'm at National Action Network's convention, and the family of Amadou Diallo came, who we fought for, and they ended up seeing these people that killed their son acquitted. Yeah. So I told them there's nothing guaranteed. There's your first step. I think that I was surprised that the special prosecutor here did charge the way she did, but we still now must get by the second hurdle now, the judge not throwing this out based on stand your ground, and I think then a trial. I think the good news is by this charge tonight, it affirms what all of us, not only National Action Network, but all of the groups and all of the people that were on social media and all of the nameless people that were not part of groups that put hoodies on and marched all over the world, said what we said. There was probable cause. That's all we said. It was probable cause. I think that was affirmed tonight, and I think that we could be happy about that, but we cannot relax in pursuing to find out the truth and where justice lies in this case.
Al, do you think that this trial, this whole scenario that's being played out, is going to have a profound effect on society, profound effect on our justice system? How big is this going to be?
I think it's going to be very big. One, I think that the stand your ground law is going to really be put under real scrutiny. There was leaders today that met and pledged to work across party lines on that. And when you deal with the fact that you've got over 20 states with that law and other states, including New York, looking at some variation of the law, you have social implications to this trial. You have, of course, the case of dealing with self-defense. You've got race. There's going to be a lot of elements that will make this a major trial, but the implications of the trial will be far-reaching, which is why we have appealed for people to be very civil and sober around this and not give to just reckless rhetoric, less known reckless behavior, because this family is committed to Trayvon be remembered for something that contributed concretely to progress in society and not just be something remembered as something that was divisive and destructive. And I think we have an opportunity to do that if we take the high road.
And how important was it, Reverend, to have a second-degree murder charge and not manslaughter?
I think it was very important. I think that it says that this prosecutor believes that there's something that really, really was criminal here. We don't know all that she has. Yeah. We don't know what she reviewed that may not have come to light. She's certainly not one that tries it in public. Yeah. So I think even all of us that were very much in support of seeing an arrest and a charge, by her doing this, we're saying there must be some things we don't know. And that's fine. We're not trying to be the lawyers or the prosecutors. We wanted to make the society and the criminal justice system take a second look at this. They have, and these are the results.
Reverend Al Sharpton, thanks for your time on the Ed Show tonight. Great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Coming up, what will it take to convict George Zimmerman of second-degree murder? I'll talk to attorney Mike Papantonio and former prosecutor Dan Gelber. And the fight to repeal stand your ground laws is officially on in America. Ben Jealous of the NAACP is leading the charge. He'll join me tonight, and there is a lot more to come.